Why me? Why do I have to be the one who suffers? A hospital corridor. The fluorescent light is very white. The bench is a little cold. You're holding a report, or you've just hung up a phone call that came in the middle of the night. Someone rolls a cart past you. Someone else is on the phone deciding what to have for dinner. The world keeps running, and only your world got paused. And then the question arrives, almost automatically, carrying hurt and anger and a shame you can't quite name. Why me? Nobody here is going to tell you that everything happens for a reason. Said to someone in real pain, that sentence is a second injury. And nobody is going to tell you to think positively either, because when it truly hurts, positive thinking is the most useless tool in the box. What we'd rather do is turn the question over and look at it honestly. Because 2,500 years ago, a man's very first teaching, his very first sentence, answered it head-on. It sounds almost cruel at first. The strange thing is that countless people, once they understood it, felt relief. That man was the Buddha, and the sentence was the first noble truth. Life contains suffering. This is not pessimism. It's a statement of fact, neutral as a law of physics. Birth, aging, sickness, death, not getting what you want, losing what you love. These are not life's malfunctions. They are life's specifications. Why has this blunt statement liberated so many people? Because it demolishes a hidden assumption. Secretly, we all believe in a script. Life is supposed to go smoothly, and suffering is an anomaly. So when pain arrives, we suffer twice. Once from the pain, once from the question, why me? As if everyone else received the normal script, and we alone got the defective copy. The Buddha tears that script up. There is no supposed to be smooth. Suffering is the default setting, issued to everyone. Other people's lives look serene only because you can't see their nights. So to why me, the Buddha's answer is stark. No reason. Suffering doesn't select. It simply runs on causes and conditions. Illness follows biology. Accidents follow probability. Economies follow cycles. It landed on you not because you did something wrong, and not because the universe is targeting you. That sounds cold, but feel it carefully. It lifts an enormous weight. Because the subtext of why me is usually, am I not good enough? No, you do not owe randomness an apology. With the wrong question removed, the right one can go in. One story has to be told here. Viktor Frankl. We return to him often on this channel, because on the subject of suffering, no one has more standing. A psychiatrist who spent 3 years in Nazi camps and lost nearly his entire family. In a place where why me wasn't even askable, because it was everyone, he observed something. Prisoners in identical external conditions were internally worlds apart. Some became beasts. Others gave away their last piece of bread to weaker men. From this, he drew his most famous conclusion. Everything can be taken from a man, but one thing: the freedom to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances. Later generations distilled it into a single line. Between stimulus and response, there is a space, and in that space lies our freedom. In practice, that means one pivot. Replace why me with, it happened. Now what? A few words difference, the entire direction changes. Why me faces the past, and the past has no doors. You will keep hitting the wall. Now what faces the future, and the future is all doors. To be clear, this pivot does not mean skipping grief. Cry when crying is due. Rage when rage is due. Emotions need to flow all the way through. The pivot is about what happens after they flow. Which question gets your attention? Give it to why, and you'll stand in place until you become a monument to bitterness. Give it to what now, and you begin to move. One more piece from the East. The I Ching's principle of reversal. When things reach their extreme, they turn. People mistake this for a comforting proverb. It's actually the core of the book's entire worldview. A book about change, whose central observation is that any state pushed to its limit begins converting into its opposite. The winter solstice is the year's longest night, and precisely from that day, the days grow longer. Your rock bottom works the same way. It is thoroughly terrible, and thoroughly contains the message. You've reached the floor, and every next step is structurally upward. That's not a greeting card. That's the architecture of change itself. There's one more pain, often sharper than the suffering itself, that needs its own minute. Why is everyone else fine? You stare at the hospital corridor window at traffic flowing normally. You update your resume and scroll past a classmate's promotion post. That sting is suffering with comparison compounded on top. Two things to hold on to. First, you are seeing other people's covers, not their pages. Everyone carries invisible luggage, and the person you envy may be surviving nights you know nothing about. Sociologists have a saying: if everyone's misfortunes were piled on a table for open exchange, most people, after inspecting the others, would quietly take their own back. Second, suffering is not a ration system. Someone else's ease does not mean your share was unfairly deducted. Comparing your insides to other people's outsides is a second injury, self-inflicted. You have exactly one assignment, the one in your hands. One exercise you can try. Take a sheet of paper and write down the thing you're going through. Below it, 2 questions, 1 line each. First, which parts of this are completely outside my control? Write them down, and next to them note, I stop asking why about these. Second, what part, even 5%, can I still decide? Maybe it's whether to take a walk tomorrow. Maybe it's whether to make the phone call and ask for help. Circle that 5%. From today, your strength goes only inside the circle. Suffering won't vanish because you've understood it, but the same storm that is an ending for the person who quits is a plot turn for the person who responds. May you be the second one. Did today's episode help? Tell us in the comments. Looking back, which of your hardest seasons later became your most important fuel? Your story might reach the exact person who needs it tonight. Subscribe. Every day a little closer to understanding life. See you tomorrow.